Welcome to the deep dive. We're doing something a bit different today. Definitely not wading through financial reports this time. No technical specs. We are diving straight into, well, pure concentrated emotion. Specifically the text Hush, Hush, A Murder of Crows by Kevin Daly. And we're approaching this poem less like literary critics, dissecting it formally, and more like, well, like it's a compressed chunk of human experience. Our goal really is to unpack what's inside, understand this intense emotional void the speaker feels, look at the striking images of communication or lack thereof, and then really face that devastating climax, that confrontation.
Yeah, it's a fantastic choice because poetry often works like that, doesn't it? It's almost a shortcut to knowledge, to feeling. When a text is this tight, this focused, you're pushed right into the emotional core. We're talking memory, loss, grief, and how words just sometimes fail us when we try to express those huge things. And for you listening, it's a chance to get some quick, deep insight into experiences we all grapple with, really, distilling that feeling.
Okay, let's jump right in then. That title itself, Hush, Hush, A Murder of Crows. There's an immediate tension there, right? Hush, hush, asking for quiet, for silence. But then, A Murder of Crows. I mean, that's anything but quiet. It's loud, chaotic, kind of unsettling. And the poem starts by giving this noisy group a really strange kind of power. Listen to this. As a murder of crows might say so much in its basic terms, within its simple syllables it hides in plain sight.
Exactly. And that's the first big challenge the poem throws down. It's saying that something really basic, almost primal, the caw of a crow, its simple syllables hold some kind of deep truth. It flips the script, suggesting wisdom isn't buried in complexity, but it's right there. Obvious almost, but hidden because it's so simple.
Okay, but hang on. A murder of crows. Isn't that usually a bad omen, like really bad luck? So could that line, might say so much, actually be ironic? Is the speaker maybe just desperate, projecting meaning onto noise because they need to find something in the chaos?
That's a fair question, a really important one. But I think that last phrase, it hides in plain sight, steers us away from just projection. See, if something is hiding in plain sight, it implies the truth is actually there. It exists objectively in the sound. It's the observer who isn't seeing it, or maybe can't see it because it's too basic. So the meaning isn't just made up by the speaker. It's there to be found, but concealed by its own simplicity.
Right, okay, so the outside world, nature, these crows, they hold some kind of fundamental truth, maybe a shortcut to understanding, like you said. But then the poem just pivots, turns right inward, and it contrasts this potential external truth with the speaker's own internal mess.
Precisely. It sets up this dynamic. External communication, even from crows, holds potential clarity. But the speaker's inner world, that's a system failure. The narrator admits forgotten much, but memory is being really selective here and kind of cruel. The facts might blur, but the feelings, oh, they stick around.
Yeah, that's so true to how memory often works, isn't it? Horrifyingly true sometimes. The speaker specifically holds on to the sorrow and grief, and even more pointedly, the memory of pain. It lies low. So what happened is fuzzy, but the emotional poison, that's still there. Not even actively hurting, just lying low, waiting.
And the poem gives this feeling a location, a sort of geography in that emptiness, in that faded hollow. This isn't just, a metaphor for being sad. It feels like the actual setting of the speaker's self. Hollows suggest grief didn't just cause pain, it scooped something out, left an actual void where substance should be. It's this profound emotional exhaustion.
And if your core self is a faded hollow, well, how can you communicate? It seems like this internal emptiness leads straight to the breakdown of language itself, which is exactly the thing the crows, in their simple syllables, seem to manage. The speaker literally runs out of words. The inadequacy of words struck just when I needed them most in the so silent night.
And that contrast is just wow, it's incredibly stark. First part, the crow's simple sounds might hold deep hidden meaning. Now, the human speaker, who should be the master of complex language, finds their entire vocabulary is useless, completely fails them right at the moment of deepest emotional need. The noise of nature potentially carries meaning, while the human silence in the face of need has nothing.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Is our complex human language maybe too, too limited? Too clumsy for real grief? Maybe words fail because that faded hollow inside needs something else entirely, something more primal, more universal, maybe something only the crows understood.
It certainly points to conventional communication just buckling under extreme emotional weight. The whole elaborate structure of human expression just sort of collapses when faced with that kind of existential sorrow. And this failure, this absolute rock bottom of silence and emptiness inside, that's what seems to trigger the poem's big shift.
Right. It's almost like that internal vacuum, finding you have zero words left, actually creates an opening for something else, something supernatural. The poem signals it so dramatically, that slow, almost unreal emergence. Then slowly, slowly, from shapeless shadows, you appeared.
And the timing is everything. This arrival happens right after the speaker basically declares linguistic bankruptcy. The external world, which first offered that subtle truth in the crows, now offers the ultimate truth, a direct confrontation with the source of the grief. And who is this visitor? The poem is explicit. From beyond, from the dead. This is the peak moment. Think about it. The clearest possible communication you could imagine, a message literally from the dead, delivered in that absolute silence. And it arrives precisely when the living person has absolutely no words left.
This should be it, right? The moment of connection. The answer, maybe to all that pain lying low, the thing that hollowed the speaker out. But the devastation here, it isn't actually in the message because we never hear it. The real gut punch is the speaker's response, or lack of response.
Exactly. Everything the speaker might have yearned for, the meaning hiding in those shadows, it's potentially delivered right then. And what does the speaker, the living, breathing person who was looking for meaning in crow calls and wrestling with their own emptiness, have to give back?
Just those final crushing lines. And all I had for you was nothing, nothing in all the world.
That nothing. It's seismic. It's not just, I don't know what to say. It's the final confirmation of that internal faded hollow. The grief has done its work so completely, it seems, that even this ultimate supernatural moment of clarity, this truth from the dead, gets, well, nothing back. It hits a void.
So the message from beyond, whatever it was, is just received by emptiness. It feels almost worse than if the message never came. Because the speaker's final understanding seems to be that their own sorrow has dismantled them so thoroughly that there's literally no substance left. No way to connect, not with the past, or not with this apparition, not with anything.
And that's the poem's brutal insight into grief, I think. Sorrow doesn't just inflict pain, it can actually erode the self. It renders the person inert, the silence of the night, the failure of words. It's all sealed by this ultimate silence of the self, that nothing is the final state. It suggests that internal emptiness can be more powerful, more absolute than even a direct message from the other side trying to reach it.
Wow. It makes the start of the poem, with that hint of truth hidden in the crow's calls, feel incredibly far away now. We've gone from this external promise of simple wisdom to an internal catastrophic failure to even receive the ultimate revelation, let alone respond.
Yeah, the whole arc suggests that profound communication, whether it's subtle hints from nature or a direct message from the dead, it just doesn't land if the receiver is internally gutted. That faded hollow proved stronger in a way than even death reaching back.
That is, yeah, a chilling takeaway. We followed the speaker from seeking meaning outside, in nature's omens, to being confronted by the ultimate truth from beyond, only to find the self is just too empty, too depleted to engage with it at all.
So the core idea for you listening is maybe this paradox. The poem shows the sheer devastating power of internal emotional emptiness. Even when you're seemingly given the answer, the connection you crave, profound grief can act like this impenetrable barrier, rendering even the most extraordinary event, well, meaningless, void.
Which leaves us with a really provocative question, I think. The apparition came specifically to speak to the narrator. So if the narrator genuinely had nothing to give back, what might have actually been learned or absorbed in that moment? Did the message still echo somehow in that faded hollow, even without a response? What truth sticks around when words completely fail and all that's left to listen is emptiness. Something to think about.